Good afternoon. We're going to bring this down.
If you can hear us, clap once.
Yay! She's very energetic today. Okay, I'm going to bring this even more down. And yesterday, she's very energetic. We're very happy to see you here. Welcome to our new North Campus tradition. If you can give the tradition an applause. This is the first of many years that we'll be doing the Impact Awards. My name is Evelyn Rodriguez, and next to me is my partner in crime, Dr. Isabel Rodriguez-Deemer.
You said that in front of Dr. Minka Bradley. Hello, everyone. It is an honor to be here among faculty, students, staff, and administrators. Today's award ceremony marks and celebrates a significant turn the college took a few years ago when it was designated a change-making campus. Miami-Dade College, yes. And here's why. Miami-Dade College received official recognition for its expertise in advancing socially innovative education when it became the first and only public institution of higher education in the southeastern part of the United States to be designated as an Ashoka U change-making campus. That deserves an applause. The prestigious network includes Brown University, Cornell, Duke, Fordham, George Mason, Johns Hopkins, Middlebury, and Tulane. Building on its vision for a world in which everyone is an agent for positive change, Ashoka U takes an institutional approach to transform the education of not only the millions of students, including our 165,000 at Miami-Dade College. Since that day, the campus has strengthened its commitment to change-making, social innovations, social entrepreneurship in the areas of curriculum, co-curriculum, research, and campus mindset. So today, we celebrate the impact that we have made in our classrooms, our campus, and our community, and across the globe.
Thank you. You can leave it. Today, we also celebrate National Service Recognition Day and the efforts of the AmeriCorps and Senior Corps. Given the diverse challenges facing our communities, leaders are increasingly turning to national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective solution to local problems. AmeriCorps members and Senior Corps volunteers tackle tough problems, whether helping communities, assisting here on campus, through tutoring, mentoring, national service members are engaged. Just like many of our change makers, you don't hear their stories on the news, but every day they go out quietly and without fanfare to improve the lives and strengthen community. If you can give those AmeriCorps a round of applause. We would also like to take this opportunity to invite you to join us tomorrow for our Destino Leadership Academy. In partnership with AARP and other sponsors, we're bringing a day of workshops and a service project free of charge and open to the community. This very room tomorrow afternoon will be filled with over 300 registered guests committing to planting a new seed through service. We would now like to call to the stage a passionate advocate for change-making, Dean Georgette Perez.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. So I have the pleasure of sharing some remarks on behalf of our campus president, Dr. Harrison, who unfortunately was unable to make it, but definitely sends her regards, and her support, as you know, is unwavering since day one. And actually, Ms. Rodriguez and Dr. Rodriguez-Deemer shared how exciting it was when we were designated as our Ashoka campus. And yes, indeed, and I applaud that. I applauded that when she said it. We applauded it when it was an institution. But one thing I know for sure is that we were change-making way before. And that's what I think what makes it so awesome. I mean, that we got the designation, recognizes the work, but the work has been happening here so naturally and so organically. And it really is because of the efforts of people like all of you in this room who make it happen. And there's so many of us beyond who are here today that also make it happen here. And that is one of the things that is so inspiring, first about working in higher ed and the work that we do, but really working at Miami-Dade College and working at the North Campus and really being able to do that. So this is a very special day where we get to really recognize that, because today marks a very new tradition, as was said, that comes from the passion of our two fearless leaders and our committee members to really envisioning something to continue this recognition. And usually people who are in change making, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, are not in it for the recognition. That's really not what it is. The work that we do is really the reward, right? That is, and I was just sharing a little bit with our speaker, who you'll hear with the beauty of being, he's in philanthropy, he's come from higher ed, and I said, that's what I love about being in higher ed, that we get to do this every day. We really get to do it, and I know that I get to do that every day because I work at a place like MDC, and I know that sentiment is shared, because that's why we are here today, because that sentiment is shared. So I am so excited that we are able to make this a new tradition at the North Campus. I definitely see this as our signature event, and how wonderful for everyone in this room that you will be part of that history making. We continue to make history. To our AmeriCorps Vista members, you are all a vital, very vital part of the work that we do every day in Single Stop, that again, so often goes unrecognized, and not that it needs to be recognized all the time, but yes, it does, and I know that it is valued. I know that our students, more importantly, our families, our community, value that work that each of you are doing. And it is because of the work that you're doing that we're able to thrive and be who we are, and be that change-making campus, and be the Ashoka U, first in the Southeast. And can we say first community college, which is unheard of. Did you hear the names of those other universities? Look, I got goosebumps because, because that is, those of us that were at Convocation not that long ago at conference day, Dr. Bergeron said how easy it is to teach those students at Ivy League institutions, and how easy it is to impact. And that's not to say that every student in the nation doesn't have their challenges, and I'm sure students at Harvard and at Yale have many other challenges as well. But the work that takes place with the students that have the challenges like the ones that we encounter, that's powerful. That is very powerful. And that is what part of what we do, what we're doing here today is all about. So I am delighted, I am pleased. I know my remarks don't do any justice to how Dr. Harrison, feels, but I can say this, that we are fortunate to work at an institution and at a campus that is so invigorated and so motivated, because I know that we are leaders in our own right as a campus, as an institution, to really do this work, because at the end of the day, we're doing the work for our students, for our families, for our community. So for that, I thank you. I congratulate each of you today that are being honored, that are being recognized. I thank you. I thank you for all the work that you do each and every day, and for all the work that you don't even realize is probably change making, because I think to me that's the most exciting part of this work, is when we started categorizing the work, we didn't even realize that it was change making. And that's, I think, the beauty in it. And think about that for a minute, that it's so innate and so organic and so part of who we are that it didn't really matter if it had a name or not, because we just did it. And I think to me that's amazing. So I look forward to even greater things, to even more wonderful things, to a whole lot more change making, and to wonderful things. I know you'll hear a little bit later in the program, you will hear from our keynote speaker. We also have we have a representative from the mayor's office, and you'll hear from him as well. And I want to thank them both for their presence here, for being with us, and I look forward to having you. Thank you, congratulations, and let's keep change making. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Shantron Anderson. I am a Vista ambassador, and I am a student here at Miami-Dade College. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce our keynote speaker on today. Mr. Imani Jerome joined Knight Foundation as Miami Program Associate in March of 2018. For several years, Mr. Jerome worked for City Year Miami, where he held several positions and worked in the Little Haiti, Overtown, Liberty City, and North Miami communities. During that time, he managed teams of AmeriCorps members while they executed an academically rigorous intervention program in several high-needed middle and high school, focusing on addressing poor attendance, behavior, and course performance in reading and math. As City Year's Miami Learning and Development Manager, he developed deeply collaborative relationships with organizations across Miami to help train and educate these sites, over 212 AmeriCorps members. From there, Mr. Jerome worked as the Associate Director of the Center for Leadership and Service at Florida International University, where he oversaw the student engagement portion of the university's social innovation strategy. This included overseeing a civic engagement mini grant awarded to students to help fund community service projects in Miami, as well as social entrepreneurships competitions where students could pitch ideas for social venues and receive mentorship and funding opportunities for a diverse range of industrial professionals. Mr. Jerome is passionate about connecting marginalized communities to opportunities that stimulate long-term cultural and economic growth. I proudly introduce to some and present to others Mr. Imani Jerome. Hear ye him.
Wow. I think that might have been the first time I've been so wonderfully introduced. Thank you very, very much. I love this city. And I was basically saying when she was telling me a little bit about my bio, I was like, you could just say I'm just a South Floridian, and I'll accept that at the same time. Because, you know, South Floridian can mean lots of things. Where you're born, where you're raised, where your family is from, where you'd like to go. I consider myself a South Floridian, first and foremost. My family is from the island of Dominica in the West Indies. I was born in St. Thomas because my mother knew there had to be an American in the family. And I was raised in Broward in the community of Lauderhill with a lot of other West Indian people. But I've been living and working in Miami for the last 10 years, and I really, really appreciate my adopted city. So why serve? Because I think at the end of the day, that's what this is getting down to. No matter what you really think change-making should or shouldn't be, at the end of the day, it's about service. It's about serving other people. So why serve? And so in my experience with service, I've found that to serve means being a servant of others. Servant leadership is very, very important to me. It's central to all the work that I have done. So I want to share a little bit about my background in terms of why I serve, and hope that maybe that connects a little bit with your particular strategy. So again, as was mentioned, I worked primarily, the AmeriCorps program I worked with was City Year. And I worked in several schools here in Miami. And I think if you ever really want to learn about a city, you go into its schools and you meet its people and you talk to its people. Because I think at the end of the day, a city is just building and trees without people, right? So people, at the end of the day, is why we serve. And so there are just 3 short anecdotes I want to share with you that taught me what service in Miami looks like for me. And maybe we can connect on that. So the first space was, I used to work at Miami Edison Middle School in Little Haiti. Of course, now it's a magnet program. It's the iPrep program. But I had the unique opportunity to work in that school in the last 2 years while they were still considered Miami Edison Middle School. It's a very interesting thing to work in a school that the children believe are failing, because they believe they're the reason it's failing. We would work with the schools around we'd work with the school around testing time, when the FCAT at that time, and then FSA as it eventually became. And the students would come to us for tutoring, and they would say, are we the reason why the school is closing down? How hard is that to be able to talk to a child about that? But this is some of the things that we worked with in City Year. And so I noticed every day when I would work in my office, there would be a young man, and I'll call him Will. There'd be a young man who'd stay in my office, and I'd have paperwork way into the night, and no matter how long I was there, Will was always there too. And I couldn't understand for the life of me why Will was always hanging around in my office. And so I'd be like, go home, man. Like, go play football or something. Go do something outside. But he was very quiet, and he always waited until I was done, and then he would leave. So one day, when it was getting particularly late and I had a lot of paperwork, I said, Will, I just don't feel comfortable you being here. It's getting dark. The lights are about to turn on. We need to figure something out. So he told me the reason why I am here is because there are boys who jump me at the bus stop. And so I stay in your office until I know that they're gone, and then I go to the bus stop for me to go home. And I thought to myself, I had been working there for several months, and I never thought why this child is in my office and why he chose to stay after school. So I said, okay, Will, so I know how Miami-Dade Public School System works. I can't drive you to your home because you can't have the child in your car. But I said, Will, how about I go to the bus stop with you, and we'll make sure there's nothing that goes down over there, okay? So he was like, sure. So we go out to the bus stop. I don't see anybody there. I say, okay, well, so there's nobody here. I can head home. He's like, if it's okay with you, it's actually a little bit later than usual, and my mother will actually be kind of nervous that I'm not home yet. Would you ride the bus with me? And in the back of my head, I'm just like, I got to go and deal with traffic, and I've got to get home, and I've got Netflix waiting for me. But I was like, no, let me do this. So I got on the bus with him. And so we ride the bus, and we get to his home in the area that he lives in, not too far from Edison Middle. And a large woman who looks very, very angry is waiting at the bus stop because for all she knows, there's her son and some strange man getting off the bus together. I don't know any Creole, but I know when someone's angry, and she was saying quite a bit as she came towards me, and she rushed towards me, and I'm like 5'0", okay? So I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna square up on a lady, but at the same time, I was like, whoa, like this is more than I thought was gonna be happening. And the child, Will, stepped in front of her, and she said, no, city year. And immediately, her features changed. She went to me and she grabbed my hand and she cried and said, thank you, because I didn't know that the AmeriCorps team that I was managing was working with and tutoring Will through so many things that was going on in his life. I didn't know that his father had been abusive and had recently been incarcerated on a drug bust. I didn't know that he had a brother that had recently been killed by gun violence. I didn't know that. To him, he was the child that was in my office. But the AmeriCorps members on my team, and I told them this the next day, it's not me that she's shaking my hand for. She's shaking the hand because of those that serve and those that served her son. And that, I think, was really the first time that I realized this is what service is about. Why serve, too? I worked at Miami Northwestern Senior High School in 2013 in Liberty City. I love Miami. Is there anyone that went to Miami Northwestern in this room? No? Oh, man, I was hoping so. I love Miami Northwestern. That is a school that I really, really have a soft spot in my heart for. In 2013, a lot of people don't know, but when the Trayvon Martin case was happening, Trayvon Martin had a sister who was actively going to school at Miami Northwestern Senior High School when I was there operating the City Year AmeriCorps team at that school. So the day after George Zimmerman was acquitted, the school was tense, really, really tense. And you can cut the tension with a knife. It was hanging over everything and everyone. At that time, if you were going to walk into Miami Northwestern, there's a gate where the bus stop is, and the City Year AmeriCorps members would stand outside that gate and say good morning to every single child that came into the school, because we believed if no one else was going to, somebody who was an AmeriCorps member who was there to serve was going to let that child know that we were glad that they were here. They're glad they came to school. We were glad that you're here. So my team was there saying hello to everybody, and I was there too. At the time, there would be 2 police vehicles flanking either side of the gate, and the students had to walk through these 2 vehicles in order to get into the school. A tense situation at the best of times, but particularly at this time, it was very, very tense. So I'm up with my team, we're welcoming students, and I see a young man who I had worked with after school, and we did tutoring with this young man. And I saw him get off the bus, and I knew immediately there was something different about him that day. He seemed really, really tense, very, very tense. And so he walks, and he walks by the two officers, and then he goes through the gate, and he stops and clenches his fist and turns around and walks back towards the police officer and cocks his hand back. Thankfully, I started seeing this as he was coming off the bus. I was like, let me go and talk to him. And by the time he'd had his hand cocked back, I kind of was there to kind of be like, hey, man, let's go take a walk. Let's just go walk around the school a little bit. Let's cool off. And so I walked around, and I walked with him, and I'll call him Mark. And I'm like, Mark, what were you doing? What did you think you were about to do there? What's going on with you? Talk to me. What's going on? And tears streaming down his face, he said, I just want to know if they are at their child's schools, flanking the entrance to their child's school with guns. I just wanted to ask them that. And it hurt me so deeply that this child was just so angry at what was going on in his school, going on in his community. But he said, when he had apparently talked to somebody about what he was going to do that morning, and they had told him, you know, your city year member, I had a lot of city year members, they had told him, you know, your city year member wouldn't like it if you do that. The AmeriCorps member working with you wouldn't like it if you did that. And he told me he wasn't really going to do anything. He just really wanted to go and talk to the person. But he said it was really because the AmeriCorps member on my team working with him really talked to him. And because in his mind, if he did that action, she would be unhappy with him. That's why he said he wasn't actually going to go do it. But at the end of the day, I noticed how important it was to connect this young man to somebody who cared about him and somebody who was there to serve. And the last anecdote I would give is when I was at Florida International University, and we became an Ashoka campus after you all. And so we were really looking at what MDC was doing to learn of how we can emulate that at FIU as well. There was a young man who I had worked with at Edison Senior in Little Haiti, who, when I first started at FIU, he was also starting as a student. He got a full ride scholarship, super bright kid. And I told him that I think this must be fate. You went to the school that you wanted to go to. I'm starting to work at the school I wanted to work with. We're going to be able to continue our relationship. This is great. And so we met together several times, and we would just talk a little bit about what is it that you want to do? How is college going to help you? What do you want to go do with your life? The thing about this young man is that he was very enterprising. He had lost a family member to gang violence, and his father wasn't in the picture. And so he felt he had to provide a lot of the money in his family. And so what he came up with was, I don't know if it was an entirely legal scheme, but what he would do is he would purchase materials online, really cheap, like a mug, a scented candle, things like that. He would rebrand it with his own brand, and then he would sell it on Amazon for a slightly marked up price and make a bit of a profit. 16 years old, he came up with this particular model. And by the time he got into FIU, he was making enough money that he was helping to support his family while he was there, which I thought was amazing. And so I'm meeting with him in the first couple of months that he's at FIU. And in December, when we come to meet, I would always get him lunch, and we'd have some coffee, and we would just talk. And on this particular meeting, he said, Mr. Jerome, I really appreciate how much you've worked with me in high school and how much you're working with me here at FIU, but I have to let you know that I'm going to be quitting on December 9th. And I'm like, what happened? I thought we were doing really well. I thought you were really gaining a lot of what you were hoping to get here at FIU. And you know what he told me, which just broke my heart there in that coffee shop. He said, I went to a class and I spoke to a teacher. The first day at school, I introduced myself, and I was speaking a little bit to the teacher. And the teacher stopped and heard my accent. He's a Haitian American, heard my accent, and he said, the teacher told him, we speak English here. That's what you need to do. And if you don't think you're going to be able to write and read on a level that you need to leave. And he told me it absolutely hurt him so much that was his favorite class. And the teacher spoke to him in this way. And unfortunately, he must have had other experiences on campus which reinforced this idea that he was not wanted, that he was not valued. And no matter what we had worked at, unfortunately, he ended up leaving on December 9th of that year. Needless to say, I reported that teacher because that's not going to go down, not in the school that I work at. But at the same time, I kept trying to figure out how could I possibly get this child, this young, enterprising mind, to decide to go back to school. And I turned, as I often do, to AmeriCorps. And so there were several members of mine in City Year who were operating a program at FIU that was targeted around new mothers who needed help a little bit with childcare as they were in the school. FIU also has a service like that, but they had recently brought in some Vista members who were helping with that as well. And so I went to the Vista team and I basically was just like, I need you to figure out some way to get this young man to come back to school because he could do so well here if he chooses to, and we need to make sure he comes back. And to their credit, this team didn't know this young man, found him on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, added him, and was engaging with him literally every single day. They built a virtual relationship with this young man and kept being like, please come back, please come back, please come back. It took a little while, but I'm glad to say that in the fall semester just last year, he re-enrolled back at FIU, and I know that he's doing really, really well. And I give that to the individuals who chose to serve. So at the end of the day, I have to ask you, why serve? What is it about you and the people that you care about that told you, I need to devote my time and my life to serving others? Because at the end of the day, it's really not about you. Yes, when we help somebody, it makes us feel good. Yes, when we hold the door for someone, it makes us feel good. Yes, when we talk to somebody at a lunchroom who's not talking to anybody else, it makes us feel good. And there's nothing wrong with feeling good about the work that you're doing. But you really know and understand that everyone else around you sees the work that you're doing. And when there's a difficulty in their life, they'll come to you because they know that you're about serving others. And so I really want to congratulate the people in this room who have given their time and given their lives to serve other people, because you are the reason that Miami is going to be the best city it possibly can be. Thank you so much for your service. Please continue to serve.
Thank you for your powerful message. On behalf of Miami-Dade College North, President Harrison and Dr. Perez, we present you with this token of our appreciation for taking out the time to show us what service really looks like. Thank you, and continue to be a change maker.
Wow. Good afternoon, everybody. What an amazing story. It's just such an honor to be here today, and I thank you all for being here with us. This is my first time here at this event. I've only been with Miami-Dade College since November of last year, and I could tell you, this is where I want to be. This is actually the place I need to be. I love it here. I love the students that are here, and my AmeriCorps Vistas that are on this campus and has worked with us over the years has been awesome. Without them, Single Stop wouldn't be what it is today. Every day I come to work, I acknowledge them and I thank them in my own special way, because I know how important it is to have them. Without them, Single Stop just would not be. So thank you guys for everything that you do every day. Thank you for making an impact, because every day they make impact in students' lives, just like you talked about. And I see it every day, and they know it. So thank you. Today we celebrate National Service Recognition Day. The actual date is actually on April 3rd, but we're celebrating it today with the Impact Awards. I am proud to join in this nationwide salute to highlight the importance of citizen engagement, recognize the dedication of national service members, and inspire more residents to get involved in our communities. Service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to help me to welcome Jonathan Moses. He's a special assistant to Mayor Carlos A. Jimenez, who is recognizing National Service Day at Miami-Dade College today within a proclamation.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, that's a little bit better. I'm going to ask the Dean to join me up here on stage. But again, it's just an honor to be here today with each of you. I'm so proud, the mayor is so proud of the great work that you all are doing in this community. As she stated, I am Jonathan Moses. I currently serve as an intergovernmental liaison in the Office of Mayor Carlos Jimenez with Miami-Dade County, and also have the privilege of serving as the chairman of the Miami-Dade Millennial Task Force, which is focused on finding ways to attract, assist, and retain millennials and young professionals like yourselves here in Miami-Dade County through housing, transportation, and career development opportunities and incentives. And as I was sitting there listening to Imani, I was just having one of those full circle moments. Miami-Dade College was my first semi-university experience. I am not a Bull, but I was at Northwestern this week. I'm a proud graduate of Miami Carroll City Senior High School. Hey, Chief Pride, I see you out there. Chief Pride, and I was a dual enrollment student here at Miami-Dade College, so it's always great to come back. And I also have memories of, tons of service events that have taken place, even in this room over the years. So it's, really an honor to be here today. So again, we want to share this proclamation with you all. And, as I was, again, listening to the things that you were discussing in terms of the young people in this community, I spent most of this week at Miami Northwestern Senior High School, and our kids are hurting right now. They need leadership, they need mentorship, and they need us to really be in their lives and to give them guidance and direction. So again, I just want to commend you all for the work that you are doing, and to keep that in mind, because as Martin Luther King would say, anyone can be great because we all can serve. So thank you. I'm not going to read all of this, but it reads, whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character, as well as is central to how we meet our challenges, and in cities across this nation, mayors are increasingly turning to national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet local needs. And whereas AmeriCorps and Senior Corps participants serve in more than 50,000 locations across the country, bolstering the civic, neighborhood, and faith-based organizations that are so vital to our community, to our economic and social well-being. And whereas national service participants demonstrate commitment, dedication, and patriotism by making an intensive commitment to service, a commitment that remains with them in their future endeavors. And whereas the Corporation for National and Community Service is joining with the National League of Cities, City of Service, and mayors across the county to recognize the impact of service, be it resolved that I, Carlos A. Jimenez, Mayor of Miami-Dade County, Chairman Esteban Bovo Jr., and the members of the Board of County Commissioners, on behalf of Miami-Dade County and this entire community, we proclaim April 3rd, 2018 as National Service Recognition Day, but we all know that every day is Service Day as well. So thank you all.
Jonathan, on behalf of Miami-Dade College, we would like to give you this gift.
You can tell all the tall people were up and all the short people are back.
Really?
We're so thankful for those that have engaged in the Impact Committee in their work and have kept us updated with what they're working on. All who are being recognized today is through their communication efforts and letting us know what they were working on by either submitting, sending us an email, meeting with us one by one. Later on in the program, we will share how you can participate.
Our Campus Impact Action Plan was created a few years ago based on focus groups, the 360 scan surveys conducted with other initiatives. Our overall themes are access to education, food insecurity, and human rights. The goals based on Ashoka U ecosystems, which include community culture, leadership, teaching and curriculum, applied learning, co-curriculum, and research. These are the overall objectives of our action plan that are tied to this campus.
It is important to the campus to validate all the work that has occurred. Everyone has worked tirelessly through their committees, in different departments, in the classroom, to bring about change. Some of the few things we have learned from all of you are:
Number one, initiatives have been collaborative. And we're definitely seeing less and less silos. Number two, students are being included in the idea, implementation, and execution process. Thanks to you. Number three, appointed to the committee or not, we have all shown an increase and willingness to help in this initiative. And number four, the empowerment of our students and dedication towards change making is increasing. They have built a new momentum and have committed to be part of this process and initiative, thanks to you.
We will be sending all participants and unsung change makers, because there's people on the committee, off the committees, anyone who's willing to help, certificates with their name in the next coming weeks, as it's important to recognize the initiatives and the work that people are doing. On and off, memo or no memo, we're all there. We do recognize that not everyone could be here today. However, we still want to recognize everyone and give them a round of applause for all the work. We do encourage everyone to take the time to congratulate them after this event, send them an email, stop by their office. We want to continue this work. We want to validate all the work that's being done towards change making.
Okay, we would like to start the awards presentation with one of our overarching themes, human rights. Can those that participate in the Human Rights Committee please come up?
I would have worn my pumps if I knew I was going to be up here. Thank you.
Okay, you can have mine.
I know, thank you. Oh, this is too awesome.
Wow. Thank you very much.
All right. You don't know how to act when you get an award. All right, let's smile. Let's look good. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
For their work with food insecurity, we would like to recognize the Food Pantry Committee for their efforts. Can I please have those that participate and donate their time to the Food Pantry to please come up?
Specifically the chair. Professor Sarah Garman.
Can the liaison for the Food Pantry Committee come up? Yeah, but don't go too far. Oh, your certificate. Oh, she's probably.
Where's Barbara?
Barbara, you started it off.
Where's Estrella? Excuse me, will Estrella please come up? And Lorraine? Where is she?
Lorraine's on the travel.
She's coming. Right there.
We couldn't see you behind the column.
It takes me a while, you know, I write it, so I cannot tell you.
Well, I know where are students.
The students who participate.
Those of you who serve in the food pantry.
We can't do this without you guys.
John Brown. Who's Pantry Committee? David, actually, first.
one of our biggest fundraisers of the year, this group works tirelessly to ensure we accomplish our goal is the United Way Committee. Please come up.
Professor Tapia, now you know that you've invested a lot of time and energy. Come on up. You get a special recognition
Oh, I do?
for all your efforts.
Thank you. Do I have to give a speech?
No,
Okay,
you don't have to
good,
give a
perfect.
speech.
That's for Tallahassee.
Tallahassee, right? One more? All right. Thank you.
Talk about following your passion. This next group, regardless of their constant challenges, still manages to stay positive and make a difference. Can we please have our Asuba team come up? Come up that way. Change it up, Oh, always doing something different. All right.
The power of story and sharing history is incredibly important when it comes to change making. We would like to recognize the annual Holocaust Awareness event for keeping this story alive. Will you please come up?
Miss Jackie? Surprise! Thank you. You okay? Thank you. We can never thank them enough for what they do on an everyday basis. However, with all they have to do, they still find time to give back. I would like to call up those who lead our support staff and those who are on the support staff team to help and thank them for their efforts. I know I have some support staff here. He's coming. Our fearless leader from the support staff team. I know. Come on up.
They're back in their office support.
Yes.
I have experienced firsthand the work of this next group. This year, the International Students Department has collaborated with Social Science, English, EAP, Arts and Philosophy, School of Business, School of Criminal Justice, among others, to provide an array of events that promote international awareness of the arts, the environment, and global leaders. Please give these collaborators a round of applause.
If they can please come up.
Please come up. I think these are the co-chairs, too.
Although they couldn't be here today, one of the most rewarding aspects of bringing change-making awareness are the stories and services projects we hear about. We'd like to recognize our trio and Minorities of the Future, which are currently traveling, for their work with My Brother's Keeper. Do we have some of their? Oh, okay, come on up.
Come on up.
You didn't even know you would get recognized today. Oh, come on. Father, you have to put this back. Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have the pleasure to work closely with the malls and have seen some of the projects occurring in partnership with professors through Co-Curricular Learning Academy. The program has over 100 students, and we would like to recognize a few who are here today. Please stand if you are working with the malls.
Or you're a COLA student.
Or a COLA student. Come on up.
Come on up this way. Thank you guys for being part of the program. I have a special one for you. Behind every student that is in the program, we have some supporting professors. We would like to recognize Professor Robert Morris, Kay Rubin, and Professor Podreski, don't go too far, for changing their students' lives through service, really working with this group tirelessly, making sure that this group's capstone projects are done well, and making sure that the students are prepared to go out in the world and serve. So, Professor Podreski.
Although already recognized through various means, we would like to recognize some of the students that have been making an impact through ISED. If you are joining us today and you are a Newman Civic Scholar, a Florida College System Student Service Excellent Award winner, Andrew Goodman Fellow, Campus Vote Project Fellow, Engage Fellow, Our City, Our Future debate team leaders and winners, Alternative Break Teams, Clinton Global Initiative University, Spring into Sustainability, which is student-led, civic ambassadors, and part of our student leadership projects, Justice for Isaiah. Please come on stage.
That's a lot.
We are certainly involved.
Oh, awesome. Come on in. We would like to recognize all the faculty and additional supporting roles who work with ISED. If you can please come to the stage to take a photo, we would really want to recognize you. Those of you who are ISED faculty or supporters, administrators, or staff members that have been working with ISED for the last year, if you guys can please come up. I know some of you are here.
Yes, come on.
You can collect these now. We're gonna collect these. Through Earth Ethics Institute, we have also seen change-making initiatives. We'd like to recognize the Yes Club, as they are very active in student community in North. As social change ambassadors, they are currently gardening and bringing a beehive to the garden behind the science complex. So that's going to be a nice place to visit. Through the collaboration of the Yes Club and other areas, they hosted their Sustainapalooza Student Festival. A special recognition to Christian Acevedo, for the president of the Yes Club, for his leadership and advocacy efforts. Can you please give him a round of applause? We would also like to take a moment to recognize the GCEL faculty members, Professors Carola Pedreski, Jenny Peterson-Tennant, Brooke Bovey, and Tina Lombard, for their efforts.
Come on up.
I should have just told you to stay right here, right? Now I almost lost my place. Oh, yes, thank you. We've been working this last year very closely with the English and Communications, and we'd like to first thank Dr. Tomova. Which she's going to come up in a minute. And the English and Communications Department for opening their doors more than once to us. Every time we've said, can we come over, they've invited our doors. They've opened their doors and said, sure, you can come on in. We'd like to take a moment to actually give appreciation to Dr. Tomova, if she can please come up. She left? Oh, she left us, okay. We also would recognize a few of the faculty members, Dr. Marina Rodriguez, for enhancing her English composition curriculum. Woo! Through change-making projects created by students on a variety of topics and exhibited in this year's Impact Showcase. Professor Tina Lombard for her tireless efforts in promoting sustainability on campus and raising awareness to the value of green living initiatives. And Professor Lisa Shaw for her themed courses in nutrition and activism and environmental and wildlife protection. So if you can please
Come
give
on
a
up,
round of applause.
Dr. Rodriguez. Earlier this year, North Campus faculty and staff agreed to turn their classrooms and co-curricular activities upside down and apply strategies they learned through the Transformative Action Institute. We would like to recognize Professor Minka Davis-Bradley, Professor Scott Murphy, Professor Jesse Polito, Professor Selena Repas, and Professor Matthew Sikorsky, Mr. Miguel Murphy, and Mr. Stephen Nesfacel. Would you please come up?
Go that way. You're switching now.
Please welcome to the stage Ms. Janet Mapp for the AmeriCorps recognition.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we're going to recognize some of the AmeriCorps Vistas that has served us over the last years. The first person to be called is Shantron Anderson. David Antoinette. Carol Fenton. David Antoine. Peter Marin. Michael Mattison. Thank you. Benjamin Paul. Sonnen Robinson. Thank you, Sonnen, for everything you do. Ashley Smith. Loxley Smith. Thank you. Angelica Walker. Marilyn Wells. Andre Willingham. Wow, can you imagine? This is amazing. Thank you guys for all your impact. I know some of you have moved on, but we are so appreciative of what you've all done and what you've all meant to our college, and especially to Single Stop. So thank you so very much. And Tanisha, you have done a great job, and Ms. Pryor, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So as we're almost at the end, we really want to thank you again for this. Before we leave, we want to open the opportunity the next academic year for all of you to share with us your projects. There's a Blackboard page. There's a way to contact either Dr. Rodriguez-Deemer and I. We would love to sit with you, have a conversation on how you're being a change maker, give you all these different opportunities where we can engage. Before we leave, we also want to thank our Impact Committee. If our Impact Committee members can please come up for a photo.
Come on up.
Miss Barbara. I'm always on the side, she's on the other side. Yeah. Miss Janet Mapp for closing remarks.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. What a pleasure. This has been a great experience for me, and I'm sure for many of you. Thank you for being here and sacrificing and getting here. For the people who are off campus, we appreciate you. I want to say a special thank you to Dean Perez, who made it here today, who was our speaker. Thank you to Evelyn Rodriguez and Dr. Reamer, who's really put this event on and actually adopted us, adopted Single Stop and our event and invited our AmeriCorps Vista, to be a part of this. We are really appreciative. And I think collaborations like this are super important. And we see that today with all the people who are change makers. If you're not working together, if you're not a team, things tend to fall apart. So I love it here. I love seeing the teamwork that's here, and I hope to continue this collaboration. And I'm looking forward to next year. I want to thank everybody again. Thank you to Mr. Imani Jerome, who came here today as a special speaker. Thank you to Jonathan Moses, who had to run out from the mayor's office. We want to also thank all the Vistas for being here today. And of course, thank you to the Single Stop team, Elsa, Sarah, Mercy, who isn't here. These are the people who are on the front lines, running the programs and helping the Vistas and making Single Stop what it is today and changing lives and are change makers on our campus. So thank you all for being the change makers that you are. And I look forward to the next year's event. Thank you. Lunch is here. Enjoy.